After finally getting the platinum trophies for every modern Resident Evil game, I decided it only felt right to go one step further. And that meant going back and completing every single piece of DLC these games had to offer, so I could say I had 100% completion across the board. So in this video, we're finishing things properly. First up is Resident Evil 4's Separate Ways, where we see the story from Ada Wong's perspective. Then we dive into the extra content Resident Evil 7 has to offer, and trust me, that one nearly broke me. No, I must have been so close! Oh! Oh! Hey, stupid mode! And finally, we wrap things up with the Shadow of Rose DLC from Resident Evil Village. Separate Ways begins with Louise inside a prison cell about to be executed, until the person sent to kill him turns out to be Ada Wong, who quickly rescues him.
That's no way to finish a dance.
But there's no warm welcome here because almost immediately we're thrown into a boss fight against a cloak creature that can create shadow copies of itself. The arena quickly fills with clones, making it almost impossible to tell which one is the real enemy. Luckily, flashbangs make short work of the illusions. After the fight, Louise heads off to retrieve the amber while Ada reports her progress to Albert Wesker. From there, we fight our way through the castle using the massive cannons to clear the enemies and carve a path forward. But the cloak creature isn't finished with us yet because he continues stalking us throughout the rest of the chapters. Ada fights her way through more infected villagers before reaching the village itself, and from the hill above we actually get to watch Leon fighting the villagers during the opening fight of the main game. Then we head to the church and ring the bell, which reveals that Ada was actually the one who saved Leon during that scene. However, Louise never shows up at the church, so we track him down to his last known signal, Mendez's house. Along the way we reach the village centre and the cloak creature returns for round 2. I somehow managed to beat this fight first try, but not without a few close calls. Eventually, we reach Mendez's house where we see yet another moment from the main story, this time from Ada's perspective as she shoots Mendez while he's holding Leon. As we leave the room, Mendez suddenly grabs Ada. After escaping, we sneak through a factory full of infected villagers, taking them out quietly one by one. Eventually, the factory is overrun with enemies carrying chainsaws, so instead of fighting them, I did what any sensible person would do, and ran for my life. Unfortunately, Ada collapses shortly after and ends up captured. Wesker then appears in person and reminds Ada she needs to hurry up with the mission.
Having a bad day.
Wesker, to what do I owe this pleasure?
Stop wasting my time, Ada.
We run through the village towards Louise's location when the ground suddenly begins shaking. We turn around and see El Gigante. The fight turns into a rooftop chase where we swing across buildings while unloading bullets into him until he eventually falls and unlock the Giant Slayer trophy. Louise tells Ada he needs to help Leon before retrieving the amber. Since Ada is also infected, she decides to go with him so they can retrieve the antidote together. We reach the castle laboratory only to discover it's completely on fire, so Louise has to gather the ingredients to create another suppressant, which means we now have 3 separate items to collect. The first involves a shield puzzle that absolutely baffled me. Eventually, I stopped trying to understand it and just started shooting random shields until it worked. Next, we grab the red lantern, which opens a gate leading to a sequence where we have to shoot symbols to open the doors while a massive drill pushes towards us. After surviving that, Ada contacts Wesker again and spots Ashley being carried away. She radios Leon to warn him before calling him a good boy.
He's a good boy.
Finally, we use Ada's iris vision to locate the third ingredient. Louise mixes everything together and gives Ada the suppressant. With the suppressants kicking in, Ada is able to keep moving despite the infection, but the cloak creature returns yet again. This time though, we're able to escape and chase after Louise. Eventually, the cloaked enemy catches up to us and transforms. I kill it, and guess what? It transforms again. Luckily, this version is extremely weak to flashbangs, so the fight ends pretty quickly. Soon after, we witness Krauser killing Louise and taking the amber, which sends Ada chasing after him. Ada reaches the island where Wesker meets her yet again and hands over a suitcase that will detonate the island once set up. We then make our way inside the comms facility where we need a spark plug to restore power, and being in this area I had a feeling we were about to run into something unpleasant. Sure enough, the very next room introduces us to a regenerator sprinting straight at me. I didn't even bother trying to fight him, I just ran. Eventually, we reach the control room and connect Wesker's device. While escaping, a massive creature chases us through a laser security tunnel. We dodge the lasers with quick time events, but the creature is too big to avoid them and dies. Finally, Ada heads to the temple to help Leon face Sadler. This boss fight isn't too difficult. After defeating him, we unlock the I had enough of preachers trophy, but just like in the main story, Sadler isn't actually dead. He wakes up, knocks Ada unconscious and ties her up. When she regains consciousness, a 4-minute timer begins, forcing us to fight our way through waves of enemy to retrieve the rocket launcher Leon will end up using in the main game.
Deja vu.
Use this!
Before leaving, Ada questions Wesker about his plans. When he reveals that it will cause billions of casualties, she decides to betray him and keeps the amber instead of delivering it. For the second run, PSN Profile's recommended strategy is doing a professional New Game Plus run for A rank, but I decided to ignore that advice. Instead, I noticed something interesting. I had 6 golden tickets, each worth 80,000 pesetas, and the rocket launcher costs 160,000 pesetas. So my brilliant strategy was simple: buy 1 rocket per boss fight. For S plus rank, I needed to finish the DLC within 2 hours and 30 minutes while saving no more than 10 times. Most of the run went smoothly, until El Gigante. I tried fighting him normally to save a rocket, used every bullet I had, every resource in the arena, and he still wasn't dead. So I restarted and decided it was just best to use a rocket. And then I missed that rocket shot, so I had to restart again. Further into the run, I accidentally used a rocket on the 2 Garradors, forgetting the U3 fight happens immediately afterwards, which meant I had to fight U3 legitimately. Thankfully, the sniper rifle does massive amount of damage, so once I figured that out, the fight wasn't too bad. After that, the rest of the run was mostly smooth sailing, with the final 10 minutes turning into a full sprint to the finish. And with that, the final trophy's unlocked. So my final thoughts on Separate Ways. On standard difficulty, this DLC was a lot of fun. It adds some really cool perspective to the main story and shows just how many key moments Ada was secretly involved in. But going for S+ rank on professional was pretty miserable. But with Separate Ways finished, it was time to move on to the DLCs that nearly broke me. Resident Evil 7. If Separate Ways was a warm-up, Resident Evil 7's DLC was the real test. This game has a ridiculous amount of extra content, and some of it was genuinely great. But some of it felt like Capcom sat down and asked themselves, how much suffering can we realistically put someone through? Great, I'm a fucking idiot! No! The first mode is Nightmare. The objective is simple, survive until 5 AM. In game time, that's 5 hours. In real life time, it's around 35 minutes. Each hour gets progressively harder while molded enemies keep spawning and you have to collect scrap from machines around the map to buy ammo and weapons. Once I figured out the system, the strategy became pretty simple. Knowing how overpowered the chainsaw was from the main game, I saved up the scrap and bought it as soon as possible. Then I crouched next to a doorway. Whenever a molded walked in, I sliced their legs off so they fell forward and their head landed directly into the chainsaw. It worked disturbingly well. Any spare scrap went into upgrading my Magnum, so when Jack eventually showed up, he didn't last very long. And not long after, the Dead by Dawn trophy unlocked. For the next trophy, it's the exact same thing again, just on a harder difficulty. Thankfully, the chainsaw strategy still worked perfectly. Jack showed up, the Magnum came out, and he went down quickly. Next up was Bedroom, which is basically an escape room puzzle. The goal is to escape the room while Marguerite keeps checking on you, but there's a catch. If she notices anything has moved, or she sees you doing anything suspicious, she instantly kills you.
Oh, something ain't right. That picture was there in the corner for a reason! You dirty live little shitbird!
I gave it a go for around 30 minutes but didn't really figure a single thing out, so at that point I admitted defeat and opened up the PSN profile guide because an escape room really isn't my strong suit. The solution involves grabbing items like a spoon, lantern, lighter, breaking a clock and unlocking the grandfather clock, arranging paintings on the wall and slowly working through a series of steps while constantly resetting the room before Marguerite returns. At one point, you even have to eat the food she brings you to reveal a hidden rat collectible, and after gathering 3 rats, the rat catcher trophy unlocks. Eventually, the final key is obtained using a shadow puzzle, then it's just a case of grabbing a knife, attacking Marguerite, and unlocking the hidden door behind the bed.
That hurt me, you son of a bitch!
And then came Ethan Must Die. God. This mode is simple, in theory. You start in the yard and need to reach the living room to grab the keys to the old house. The problem is the game forces you through this elaborate route across the entire map. The route is filled with molded enemies, ridiculous traps set by Lucas, and items boxes that sometimes just explode and instantly kill you. You're basically one-shot the entire time as well. And if you somehow survive that entire journey, you still have to fight Marguerite at the end, which means your entire run can fall apart right there. No! 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 The only real strategy is to keep playing until you get lucky enough with the item boxes to eventually pull something like the Magnum with enough ammo to make the boss even possible. After hours and hours of deaths, I finally started reaching the boss fight consistently. And then the run happened. Great weapon drops, loads of ammo, 20 enhanced bullets, and the Magnum. I emptied everything into Margaret and baited her into all the traps in the arena, and finally, she went down.
You're not afraid of a girl, are ya? Don't be like that, Ethan. Show yourself.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes! Give me that trophy! Fuck you. Yes! Come on! Honestly, I hated this mode with every fibre of my being, but weirdly, after hours of punishment, finally beating it felt incredibly satisfying, which somehow ended up making it one of my favourite modes in the entire DLC. Next up is 21, which is essentially blackjack.
What do you think? You believe that freak?
And now, I'll explain the rules of the game. You fellas play blackjack, right? You just draw cards, trying to add up to 21. Go over 21, and you lose.
Wait, this is crazy.
So, say your prayers and let the games begin.
Now, I'm not new to blackjack. Between GTA casinos and a worrying number of hours on Paddy Power, I know exactly how this worked. The challenge here is beating 3 waves of opponents across different difficulties while Lucas adds increasingly brutal punishments each round. Most rounds went fairly smoothly, until the final phase. Lucas played a card that prevented me from drawing.
Hoffman! You want dog?
Fuck! Just wait a second!
No. Bye-bye, Clancy.
At first, I had no idea what to do, until I remembered one of my trump cards forced the opponent to draw an extra card. He drew, went over 21, and even though I only had 3 on the board, I still won. After that, we move on to 21 Survival, where you have to beat 5 opponents in a row. By this point, you start recognising the patterns and reading what the opponent probably has. Using the trump cards properly makes this mode surprisingly manageable. I actually got the card shock trophy on my first attempt. The final challenge is beating 10 opponents in a row with any damage carrying over. On my first run, I actually reached the final opponent but lost, and I thought, okay, this won't take too long. I was very wrong. It took 6 hours to reach that point again.
I'm gonna stay.
This time, I saved every useful trump card I could find, extra damage cards, cards that cancelled opponents' abilities, and any cards that raised the score limit to 24, 27 so I wouldn't bust. Eventually, everything lined up perfectly, and after a very stressful final round, know when you hold them unlocked. Is that it? Please say that's it? Oh, thank God. 7 hours, Jesus. After all of that pain, Daughters was thankfully much simpler. This is a short story chapter where you play as Zoe Baker during the moment Evelyn first arrives at the house.
Oh, she's so young.
Yeah, how's our other guest?
Sleeping, poor thing.
I say let him. He'll be okay here for a few days, leastwise till we can get him into town.
Zoe, go get some fresh clothes from the laundry room, okay?
You watch the Baker family slowly start to lose control as Evelyn's influence spreads.
Stop it!
Don't you worry. It's a whole lot worse than it looks. Cleanliness is next to godliness, and no one is pretty fucking close to meeting him right now. She wants me to do this. I have to show her how to hold him. She wants us all to show her our love.
Daddy!
Well, you don't want to disappoint her now, do you? We can't do that.
What are you talking about?
Your new sister Eve.
The segment itself only takes around 15 minutes with 2 different endings. For the bad ending, you sneak around the house, avoid the family members, and eventually escape using the garage car.
What? You leave us?
Don't you want to meet your little sister?
Now you'll just be in road!
For the good ending, you instead find a hidden dog statue from the main game, unlock the yard door, and reach the trailer where Mia is hiding. And then we have the weirdest game mode I have ever played in any video game, Jack's 55th birthday. This game mode is basically a time attack arcade mode where you play as Mia delivering food to Jack while fighting molded enemies along the way. Different foods fill his meters, combining them gives even more points, and killing the enemies adds time to your clock. There are 3 separate trophies on offer here: S rank on every map, feed Jack every type of food, and complete a stage with a 10-minute time bonus. To get S rank on every map, I followed this guide, because figuring out an optimal route would have taken me absolutely forever, but once I learned the routes, the S rank started flying in. Then I quickly grabbed the last foods I was missing, including garbage and a cheesecake, fed them to Jack and unlocked the Miracle Chef trophy. The final trophy, however, is worded very badly. It says to clear a map with a 10-minute time bonus, which makes it sound like you need 10 minutes left on the timer, but it actually counts your total bonus time across the entire run. After another quick guide, the trophy popped. The next DLC was the one I was most excited for going in. I had heard nothing but good things about it, both the story and gameplay, and after playing it, I can see for myself definitely why. End of Zoe continues the story right after the ending of Resident Evil 7. This time we play as Joe Baker, Zoe's uncle, who discovers her body turned completely to stone after the Baker family incident. Joe isn't exactly your typical Resident Evil protagonist either. He's a retired Marine and will mostly be using hand-to-hand combat to fight our way through the Louisiana swamps in search of a cure. For this DLC, I needed to complete 3 playthroughs: a normal run, Joe Must Die run, and a final run using no weapons. We start the DLC with Joe discovering Zoe's body and immediately interrogating a soldier nearby who tells him there's a cure in a shed not far away.
Look! That there my brother's little girl. My niece, you understand? And around here, family is a righteous cause. And you ain't gonna kill my family.
We're instantly introduced into the DLC's combat system, punching and blocking and countering enemies, which unlocks the Queensbury Road trophy. We grab the cure, but unfortunately it isn't enough. The soldier tells us the full treatment is at a nearby umbrella base, but before we can move Zoe, we're attacked by a massive swamp creature.
Okay, it's okay now, Zoe.
Joe carries Zoe towards the base and lays her down nearby whilst we clear out the area, stealth killing a few enemies along the way, unlocking swamp warfare. Soon after, we have our first fist-to-fist encounter with the swamp creature. Joe beats the life out of him and we continue through the crocodile-infested waters before reaching an abandoned ship where we are able to synthesize another cure. But of course, things are never that simple. The swamp monster attacks again and we're forced into a full boss fight this time. After a brutal brawl, we managed to rip his head clean off, and at this point I was pretty confident he wasn't actually finished. And sure enough, once we return to Zoe, the creature returns and takes her. We track him down to a church where we finally discover the truth. Joe rips off the creature's face and it's revealed to be Jack Baker, his brother.
What the fuck?
The final part of the DLC takes us back to the Baker house where we have one last showdown with Jack, and after a long fight, Joe finally knocks his eye out and finishes him off for good.
This is a farewell from the family, brother.
Shortly after, Chris Redfield arrives, cures Zoe and takes them both to safety. That playthrough took me around 45 minutes to an hour, so I thought this next playthrough in Joe Must Die maybe might take me to around the 2-hour mark. I was completely wrong. Within the first 30 seconds, I was getting absolutely destroyed by everything in sight.
Oh my god, you can't even get past the first fucking 2 minutes! Jesus! You gonna fall over yet? Are you gonna fuck? Oh no, I'll fucking restart that. What? Are we just chucking every enemy in the first 2 minutes? Oh my days!
Once I finally pushed through the opening section, the run wasn't too bad until the second Jack fight. That boss fight took me hours to complete.
Bro, just bitch slap me! Damn. No! I must have been so close! Oh!
But eventually, after learning every single one of his attacks, I finally pulled off the run where I only took one hit during the entire fight, ducking and weaving under every single one of his attacks.
What's your name?
Green!
What's your name?
Green!
I got 100 on my dash, got 200 in my trunk. Name in the grab bags for my trunk. Like a cracker on the top of my binocular trunk.
Can I just do it? Fuck you, prick. Fuck you. Come on! After that, the rest of the run went pretty smoothly again. Even Jack's final fight went a lot easier than I thought it was going to.
You ain't cheating now, are you?
Fuck's sake. I had no idea if that was going well or not. Winding me up. This is winding me up. The animation locks in Resident Evil are fucking awful. I'm literally clicking crouch. I hate that one. I'm sorry. I fucking hate that one where he just throws it forward. Because I'm clicking crouch, man. Fuck's sake. How come that time you decided to swing low? So every single time I fought you thus far, you've swung across, I've been able to duck. That time you swung it low. What? What can I do there? Because there ain't no fucking jump button. What a waste of a first aid. I'm literally... Yes, come on, that's got to be it. Yes! Come on! Finally! Finally!
And finally, King of the Swamp popped. At this point there were only 2 trophies left, fastest man in the swamp and the only guns you need. I quickly grabbed the speedrun trophy, then ran through the story one last time without using weapons and finally finished the DLC. The final piece of Resident Evil DLC is Not a Hero. This story takes place immediately after the main game. Lucas Baker has escaped into a nearby salt mine and Chris Redfield leads a mission to track him down. Lucas has filled the entire area with traps, puzzles and stronger molded enemies as part of his experiments. Compared to the base game, this DLC is a lot more action focused, but it's also very short, around 40 minutes long. So I just ran through it on normal difficulty first, finishing the mission and unlocking mission accomplished. The final trophy is simple, requires completing the DLC again on professional difficulty. By this point I was pretty comfortable with the combat, so I just ran by without much trouble. Lucas went down once more and the final trophy unlocked. The final piece of DLC I tackled was Shadow of Rose on Resident Evil 8. We start off as Rose Winters, the daughter of Ethan Winters, set 18 years after the events of Resident Evil Village. Rose is struggling with the power she inherited from the Megamycete and wants nothing more than a normal life. She meets with somebody named Kay who tells her there might be a way to remove the Megamycete from her body using a mysterious crystal hidden inside the consciousness of the Megamycete itself. So we go inside of it.
Rose is so weird. Yeah. It's like she sees things that aren't there. Creepy. Stay away from us, you freak.
Imagine wanting to be friends
She's
with her.
definitely
Ew,
not normal.
something just moved on her hand. What's wrong with her?
Shut up!
Rose feels
It's like
Stay
she sees
away
things
from
that
us,
aren't
you
there.
freak.
Freak.
Ew, something just moved
Go
on her hand.
away.
We begin exploring the blood-soaked dungeon filled with countless versions of Rose, which is already unsettling as it is, and eventually we make our way into a very familiar location, Castle Dimitrescu. Once inside, we're guided by a mysterious voice calling themselves Michael.
Michael?
Okay.
While exploring the castle, we walk into a room and witness something very strange. The Duke killing another version of Rose, and I'm pretty sure in an early concept version for the game, the Duke was originally meant to be one of the 4 lords, and in this version, he definitely gave off that vibe.
It would seem this little rabbit lacks the necessary fortitude. A pity.
Our objective here becomes very clear, retrieve the crystal. But of course, again, in classic Resident Evil fashion, we can't just grab it, we need to collect 3 items, 3 masks. While exploring, we also find our first flask, which unlocks new powers for Rose. This one allows us to destroy fungal spores that are blocking past hiding items and allows us to stun enemies, and with that I unlock the trophy. It's starting to grow on me. We grab the silver mask down in the basement, but quickly run into a brute enemy that we are definitely not strong enough to fight yet, so we do the sensible thing and run for our lives. Then came a puzzle that really made me question my intelligence. This painting puzzle that had me completely stumped until I looked it up and realised I'd massively overthought the whole thing. The solution wasn't to have the paintings looking at each other, it was just placing them opposite one another. Eventually we collect the final mask, but just as things are going well, the Duke captures us and throws us into a cell. We escape using Rose's powers and make our way back towards the crystal, only for the Duke to show up again and reveal that the crystal we found is actually a fake.
Did you really think I'd give away something so precious? I had to bait the trap with something.
And just like that, we're captured again. This time though, he throws us into an arena and forces us to fight against that brute enemy from earlier. After surviving that nightmare, we're pushed deeper into the Megamycete.
What? Down there?
And suddenly find ourselves in another familiar location, House Beneviento.
No. Wait.
And I'm not even going to pretend that I attempted this section blind. I've said it before, I hate escape rooms. And I absolutely hated this section in the main game, so I followed a guide until we reached one of the creepiest parts of the entire DLC, a hallway full of mannequins that move when you're not looking at them. And yeah, this definitely got a few reactions out of me.
Oh, fucking hell! Oh! Fucking hell!
After escaping that nightmare, we end up in the house Ethan and Mia once lived in, and while exploring, Evelyn suddenly appears and pulls us back into another nightmare sequence where we're forced to run through the entire house.
What? Does she only want you?
What are you talking about? Look at you! You are beyond worthless! Seriously, what is your problem?
And just when things look hopeless, our mysterious guardian finally reveals himself. It's Ethan, but Rose doesn't know that yet. He pushes Rose deeper into the Megamycete to protect her and saves her from Evelyn's attack.
What do you want?
Rose, look out!
The final area takes us through a cave where we finally reach the real crystal. Rose begins using it to purge the Megamycete from her body, but it turns out this entire journey was part of Miranda's plan all along. She was Kay at the beginning and had been manipulating Rose the entire time.
Did he? Or did I? That Kay was an illusion. Very convincing, wouldn't you say?
No way.
Realizing what's happening, Rose destroys the crystal to save Ethan, which leads us to the final boss fight with Miranda. The fight itself is actually really cool, using Rose's new Megamycete powers to counter Miranda's attacks, and after a few attempts, Miranda finally goes down and Rose says her final goodbyes to Ethan.
I'm so very proud of you. I love you, Rose.
I love you too, Dad.
And we unlock all the difficulty related trophies. From the main DLC trophies, I only had one left, which was crafting every item. With there only being 4 craftable items in total, I quickly realised the one I was missing was the pipe bomb, so I crafted it and unlocked Craftmaster. The final 2 trophies were tied to the new mercenary maps. Thankfully, this time round they didn't require an S rank like the base game. I only needed to complete the maps, which made them a lot more enjoyable. And after finishing both maps, I unlocked Village of Blood and River of Blood. And with that, every single piece of DLC across Resident Evil is finally complete. From surviving the absolute nightmare that was Ethan Must Die, to playing blackjack for hours, delivering food to Jack in what might be the strangest game mode Capcom has ever created, punching Molded in the face as Joe Baker, and finally experiencing the story of Rose, this has honestly been one of the most fun and at times most painful videos I have ever done, but looking back at the entire journey, it's pretty incredible just how much content Capcom packed into these games outside of the main story. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe because there will definitely be more Resident Evil in the future, but for the meanwhile, let me know what game you'd like me to platinum next.